All right, today we're jumping into a story that is, frankly, one of the wildest power shifts in modern times. We're talking about the battle for the chip throne. And trust me, this isn't just about silicon and circuits. No, this is a real-life drama about ego, epic mistakes, and a rivalry that is literally shaping the world as we speak.
So, to really get a feel for this, I want you to imagine the entire semiconductor industry as like a palace drama. With all the scheming, the power plays, all happening in what's probably the most important kingdom on Earth right now, the kingdom of microchips.
And for, decades, this kingdom had just one single undisputed ruler, an emperor. This emperor designed the absolute best chips, made them all in-house, and kind of looked down on everyone else. And that emperor's name? Intel.
And yeah, this rumored quote pretty much says it all, doesn't it? It just perfectly captures how Intel saw the world back then. They were royalty. Everyone else, just minor players. And honestly, that kind of thinking, that's what really set the stage for all the drama that was about to unfold.
But, every good palace drama needs another key player, right? And in our story, that's the quiet, super skilled craftsman, the one working away just outside the palace walls. This was TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. You can think of them as the master craftsman who wasn't really trying to grab the throne. They were just focused on one thing, perfecting the art of making chips for other people.
So that's the setup. The old world order was crystal clear. You had Intel, the all-powerful emperor, completely in charge of its own destiny. And then you had TSMC, the humble craftsman for hire. Just building parts for the smaller kingdoms out there. Companies like Apple, AMD, and NVIDIA.
But of course, no empire lasts forever, does it? And starting around the 2010s, that shiny armor the emperor was wearing, it started to show some cracks. That feeling of invincibility that had basically defined Intel for a whole generation, yeah, that was starting to disappear.
And here's where things went wrong. Intel's manufacturing, the very thing that was once its greatest strength, it became its biggest Achilles heel. First, their 14-nanometer process got dragged out for so long people started calling it the toothpaste era, because they were just squeezing every last drop out of it. Then, the next big thing, the 10-nanometer process, was hit with these insane, crippling delays. And the final nail in the coffin? In 2020, Apple, one of their biggest clients, just walked away to make their own M1 chips. Ouch.
And you can just feel the frustration that was building up inside the palace walls with this quote. Rumor has it, Intel's own R&D folks felt like they weren't even innovating anymore, just repackaging the same old tech. The engine that built the entire empire was sputtering.
So, while the emperor is stumbling around, what's our master craftsman up to? Well, TSMC was just quietly, head down, perfecting its art. They cracked the code on the next generation of manufacturing, this game-changing 7-nanometer technology, and suddenly, boom, everyone from Apple to AMD was beating down the door to their workshop.
And that led to a moment that honestly was completely unthinkable in the semiconductor kingdom. The emperor, the one who always made everything himself, had to bow. The entire power dynamic was about to flip, completely on its head.
So Intel's new CEO comes out and announces this new strategy. It's called IDM 2.0. Now, the official story was all about integrating internal and external manufacturing. But if you were in the industry, the translation was, well, it was brutally simple. First, we got to ask TSMC for help. Then we got to try like hell to catch up.
This alleged quote just perfectly captures that incredible turning point. Just try to picture it. An internal meeting at Intel, where after years and years of just dismissing TSMC, a leader finally has to admit, we might have to find that Taiwanese company for help. Can you imagine? That's a moment of some serious, profound realization.
And on the other side of the world, from the craftsman's point of view, the role reversal was just as jaw-dropping. This little anecdote from a TSMC engineer really says it all. The power had completely, totally shifted. The company that used to have to go and beg for work was now the one everyone was trying to court.
So what's interesting is that this huge power shift didn't just create a new emperor. No, it created something way more complex and honestly way more fascinating. We're talking about an alliance of rivals.
a frenemy relationship that sits right at the absolute heart of the entire global economy.
Just take a look at this. It's a wild situation. On one hand, Intel is a VIP customer. They absolutely need TSMC's cutting-edge 3-nanometer chips for their own stuff. But on the other hand, Intel is pouring billions into building its own factories to compete head-to-head with TSMC for the exact same customers. They need each other, and they're trying to destroy each other all at the very same time. It's crazy.
And man, you can just feel the tension in rumored exchanges like this one. You've got this polite compliment from an Intel exec about TSMC's amazing tech, and it gets met with this sharp, competitive jab right back about Intel's pricing for its future business. It's all smiles on the surface, but, it's daggers underneath.
But wait, it gets even more complicated. Just when you think this drama couldn't get any more intense, a brand new, incredibly powerful character walks onto the stage. Geopolitics. Suddenly, this rivalry isn't just about two companies anymore. It's about two massive mountains of national interest.
And this is the point where government started getting directly involved. According to reports, the U.S. government's message to TSMC was crystal clear. This is now a matter of national security. The idea that the entire world depends on one single island for its most advanced computer chips, that was suddenly seen as way, way too big of a risk.
And just like that, the whole rivalry transformed. Intel, even with all its screw-ups, is seen as America's national champion. And TSMC, well, it's Taiwan's absolute crown jewel. It's central to their whole economy, their security, everything. These two companies basically became pawns in a much, much larger strategic game, getting pushed and pulled by these massive national interests.
Which, of course, brings us all the way back to the main question here. In this new, super complicated world, with emperors and craftsmen, and now entire countries involved, who actually wins the throne of the semiconductor kingdom?
Well, the answer, when you strip everything else away, is brutally simple. And it's never changed. It really doesn't matter if you're an emperor or a craftsman. It doesn't matter where your factory is located. In this kingdom, there is only one rule. Whoever has the most advanced manufacturing technology, whoever's process is in the lead, that's who sits on the throne. And this race, it is far from over.